Welcome back to the Can't Stop Talking podcast. Oh my God, you have no idea how good that felt to say that. Like, we are back, baby. Oh my God, my last episode was December 5th, and so much has happened since then. And I am just so happy to be here, and I'm so happy that I took that hiatus and I took the time off. I left podcasting for a couple months because it just wasn't lighting me up at the moment. I was kind of just doing something to do it. And you guys will see from this episode why that's not the right thing. That's never going to get you the results you want. And I want every episode to feel incredible, you feel my energy, you feel my excitement. And when you're, creating things from a place of I have to instead of I get to, your audience can feel that. And it's just not the same. And so I'm so proud of myself for listening to my intuition and taking the time off, because now I am more excited than ever. And like I said, so much has happened since the last I can't stop talking episode on the podcast. And there's so much that I can't wait to give you guys. And so things that are coming up on this season that have happened in the past are insane client results. Like, I'm getting client results faster than I ever have before. I truly feel that. I can't wait to give you guys all the tea. I have been traveling. I went to Tulum. That's where me and my best friend literally manifested 5 things on our list while we were on vacation. Can't wait to talk about that. I went to Spain, Croatia. Croatia was actually on my freaking vision board. I also had on my vision board a video going ultra viral, and I had business class tickets, and I've manifested all of them. Like, what? And then I also had my first real photo shoot. I manifested 20,000 followers on TikTok, and I started a new Instagram. Like, so much has happened, and there's some things I didn't even tell you guys about. For example, my mom actually had stage 1 cancer. But I'm really happy to let you know that she is 100% cancer-free, and I can't wait to talk about her story on one of the podcasts, because this was the first person in my life that I really, used manifestation to help her heal, and it worked perfectly. So if you're going through anything like that, I can't wait for you to hear that episode later in the season. So I have so many incredible things, and we're going to start off with a fucking bang, you guys. Today, I want to talk about the key to manifestation. But honestly, more importantly, I want to talk about the key to life. I know, big podcast episode for the return. That's a lot, but I mean it. Last night I had a revelation. I was sitting in my bed, and I really like to reverse engineer my manifestations and how they came in, so that I can teach my manifestation clients and my membership clients. And I really believe that reverse engineering my manifestations is why my clients get such incredible results, because I'm not just telling them to do something because I saw it on the internet. I'm telling them things that I've tried, but I'm also making sure what did I try? What worked? What didn't? What were the keys? And when I thought back to last night, I was like, oh my God, this is one of the huge keys. This is the huge key to life. And people don't really talk about this when it comes to manifesting. And so what I'm finding is a lot of people are struggling with chasing their manifestations. They're going from technique to technique. They're robotic affirming. They're jumping from scripting, tapping, visualization. And I love techniques, right? I absolutely love techniques, but it's not about the technique, right? They're doing this and they're hoping that one finally works. And what's happening is they're doing the techniques out of fear, not from identity. Maybe if I do more, it'll come, right? They're living in trying to manifest energy instead of I already have it energy. And a lot of people think they're manifesting, but they're actually just chasing. And that's why they're doing the techniques for months and they're like, it's not here yet. Or they're doing it for years, or they believe manifestation isn't working, or they're seeing other people manifest super fast and they're like, that could never be me. And it can be you. And I'm going to teach you how in this podcast episode. And so examples of this is you're thinking to yourself, it's not working. I need to find a new method. And then you go on to TikTok and find a new method, right? And you try that out for a week and then you move to the next one. Or maybe if I do this challenge, I'll go viral, right? Or I'm doing everything right, so why isn't it here yet? I need to listen to this audio daily, or, find another YouTube video, or it won't come true. Or my favorite, they're like, okay, I'll believe it. I'll believe that manifestation's real once it shows up. So all those things are outside energy, but manifestation works inside. You become it first, and then you have it. And so a big example of this is that people think that you need to put in a lot of effort to get a result. And the first time that this bubble was popped for me is when I actually manifested my 20-pound weight loss. And so most of you might know this story. A lot of you might not if you're new here, but it's one of my favorite stories ever because it changed the way I viewed life. And so for my whole life, I was obsessed with having my dream body, right? I was someone who, when she was younger, she had 17 magazine and was looking at all the diets, looking at all the celebrity diets, what they ate every day. I tried every workout. I tried HIIT. I, would go running. I would do weights. I, tried every diet, military diet, keto, Whole30, fasting, like you name it, I tried it. And this is just like people when it comes to business and just like people when it comes to manifestation, right? They're trying every single strategy. They're like, if I just go to the next strategy, that'll work. And they just go to the next strategy and the next strategy and the next strategy. And same thing with trying every diet, right? That's like trying every manifestation technique, right? This technique didn't work. I'm just going to go to the next one. I'm just going to go to the next one. I'm just going to go to the next one. But the truth was, I didn't realize that it had nothing to do with the workout or the diet. It had to do with me. And so what happened is during COVID, I was like, I can't keep living my life this way. Can't keep living my life with all these thoughts circulating in my head all the time, right? I was just always having thoughts about like how many calories I should eat, like when I should be working out, yada, yada. Like I was really in my head. And I sat down and I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask the universe to bring me a diet. But I didn't say diet. I said like a lifestyle that I will finally get the results that I want and I won't be in my head and I won't have to worry about this ever again. And the other thing I did is I looked at myself in the mirror and I would tell myself, I love my body, I'm confident. I love my body, I'm confident. And I didn't believe it at first. I didn't believe it at all. And then 3 months later, I started to believe it. I started being like, oh my gosh, I love my body. I am confident. I love my body. And the next thing I know, I was literally directed toward finding intuitive eating. And there were barely any videos on it online, but I, watched everything I could. And basically, intuitive eating was talking about throwing away all the rules, throwing away the diets and the workouts that didn't light you up because you were just doing them as a means to an end, right? I thought I had to do them to lose weight. I thought I had to do them because this person who had, my dream body that I wanted, that's what they did. So I was just following what they did, right? And so what happened is I realized that I wasn't actually being mindful. I wasn't asking myself, what do I want to eat today? Not what should I eat to get skinny? What do I want to eat today? And when I thought about that, I'd be like, wait, I don't want to eat avocado toast for breakfast because I think I'll lose weight. I actually want to eat, eggs and half a bagel today. And I just started asking my body, being mindful, like, what do I want to eat today? And while I was eating, I was present and I was listening to my body. And my body would actually tell me if it was full. Like it was crazy. Before I would just sit and I would binge eat and I would finish the pasta and I would tell myself I can't have leftovers and I wouldn't listen to my body and then my stomach would be so full and I'd have the worst freaking stomach ache in the world. And it went on like that for so long. And then during the weeks, I would just diet and just try and find the next thing after the next thing. And I would just gain the 20 pounds, lose 5, gain 10, lose 8. Like I just kept on going on this yo-yo dieting. And then it wasn't until I got rid of all the outside noise and I really got present and I got mindful and I asked my body what it wanted to eat. And then I would ask my body, how do you want to work out? Do you want to, get up early and do that hard workout class? I'd be like, no, I hate getting up early, right? I'd rather just go for a walk. And I started walking more. And now I still do workout classes, but like, guys, it's like Pilates, right? Stuff that I thought would never change my body. And I started walking and I lost the 20 pounds and I kept it off and I never think about food again. And it was the easiest thing ever, got me the best results. And that blew the bubble for me on everything. I was like, oh my God, we've been lied to that hard equals results. That's not even true. Everything's made up in this world, right? That's not even true. If that was true, I always say this, doctors would be making more money than TikTokers, right? But both of them are making millions of dollars. And some of the TikTokers are making more money than the freaking doctors, right? Nothing makes sense. Someone just said that working hard equals results, but it doesn't have to be your truth. And so what I realized, the big key to manifesting and the big key to life is that I became present. I became present. I stopped looking for the answer outside of me, and I became present so I could find the answer within. Because when you're present, you're not obsessing over when your manifestation is coming. You're being the version of you who already has it. And that is when the magic hit. When I was being present while I was eating my food, I was actually tasting the food. I remember there was like this technique where you put a raisin in your mouth and you actually, what does the raisin taste like, right? Is there ridges on the raisin? Like, what does it feel like? And I realized I was like, I was eating my food on autopilot. Like I literally was eating my food. And if we think about the subconscious, like 95% of the actions come from our subconscious. Like we're usually on autopilot every day. Like think about like, do you actually like sit down and like think about what you're eating, right? When you're driving and you have to get yourself home, usually you just like get yourself home and then you're like, whoa, how did I get here? Like I was like in a trance, right? And so I realized that I just wasn't being present throughout life. And so that's when the magic hits. You're no longer chasing, you're receiving. For example, I even think about, like, I love this analogy when you really want a guy to text you back and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm hoping, please, like, you're thinking all these thoughts. You're like, oh, I really just hope he texts me back. And then we've all been there. You go out, you have a few drinks, you're at the club, you're dancing, yada, yada. You're just present, you're enjoying the DJ, and boom, you get a text. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even care at this point because I was so excited. I was so present. Like it always happens when you least expect it because it always happens when you're being present. I realized that's the same with your manifestation. And so why is being present the key to stepping into that next level version of yourself, right? It's because when you're truly present, you're not comparing yourself. You're not spiraling into what if my manifestation never happens? You're not looping past failures or future fears. You're not looking for the next strategy because you don't believe the current one isn't working, right? You're not, like I said, comparing. You're not thinking someone else has the key that you don't. When you're here, like actually here, now, in this moment, and this is the only place you are, you can choose your next identity. And so here's what's happening. Most people try and shift living in the past or the future. So when they're doing technique after technique, they're doing it from a place of, I need to either get somewhere or it hasn't worked in the past, right? And so, like I said, their thoughts are like, but it's never worked before. What if it takes forever? Maybe when I hit, for example, 10K followers, then I'll feel confident. They're doing the techniques, but from lack, right? All of those thoughts are rooted in not being here now. And that's the energy that pulls you out of your power. Being present puts you in the driver's seat. When you're present, you can actually ask yourself, what would the version of me who already has it do now? How would she think, speak, move, post, sell? And then you're actually able to do it, not in a fake way, but in an embodied way. And so what's happening is a lot of people ask themselves, like, what would the version of me who has 10,000 followers, what would she be, thinking, doing, and feeling right now? But they're asking that from their past identity or from their future. And so they're not getting the right answer. They're not actually sitting there, being present, only focusing on now, and then asking themselves that question. And so what I mean by that is it's like standing in front of a portal. The only way that it'll open up is if you're standing right in front of it. If you're behind it and dwelling on the past, or if you're in front of it and stressing about the future, it's not going to open. Only when you're fully present does the portal activate. That's when time collapses. That's when things click. That's when your next level starts chasing you. And so you're missing with the techniques the part before it, being present. But here's the thing, you're not being present to get something. You're being present because that's where you want to be. And let me explain, right? Being present is what gives you access to the version of you who already has it. When you're present, you're in your power. I never understood what it meant when people were like, it's not what you're doing. It's who you're being. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? It's not what I'm doing. It's who I'm being. Like, what does that actually mean? But what that means is you can be posting every single day, following all the strategies, doing all the things. But if you're still being the version of yourself who's doubting, refreshing stripe, and thinking, ugh, it's not working, that's energy that's underneath it. That's lack. For example, my weight loss. I was doing all the, diets. I was doing all the workouts. But underneath it, I wasn't actually being the type of person who has their dream body. The type of person who has their dream body, they actually sit down when they eat and they think about what they're eating and they connect to their body and see if they're full and they ask their intuition what they want to eat today and they let themselves have the pizza and they let themselves eat whatever they want and then they just listen to their body and when it's full, right? They're not looking for, strategy. The person who actually has I asked my friends, I looked around at my friends who had their dream body and I thought about it. I was like, what are my friends who have their dream body doing? They weren't killing themselves in the gym. They weren't, ever dieting. Those were the type of people who were eating whatever they want, but stopping when they were full and they were walking. I realized, oh my freaking God, that was the difference. They were just listening to themselves. They were in the present moment. And so, for example, you could literally do less, but be in the energy. Of course it's working. Of course clients are coming. Of course I'm magnetic and your results would triple. This is what happens when you do techniques from not being present first. When you do techniques from not being present first, you have to keep on doing the strategy. But the strategy is never going to work because you're constantly chasing. And so have you ever felt like you're on the outside of what you want? Like you're scrolling and you're seeing other coaches with 10,000 followers and it feels like they're on the inside of some secret club. And you're just here knocking on the window like, hey, can I come in? Someone let me in. I swear I'm working hard too. That energy right there is what keeps you chasing instead of receiving. It's small, but it's powerful. Because when you see what you want as something separate from you, you're reinforcing the identity of I'm not there yet. And if your identity is I'm not there yet, the universe will keep showing you proof of that, you not being here. When you become present and then shift your identity, that's when the magic happens, right? It's like this. You're looking at someone else's business like it's a concert you don't have a ticket to. But instead of walking to the VIP entrance, you're lingering at the gate hoping someone notices you and comes and says hi. You're the one who decides if you're in the room. You don't get upgraded after you make it. You get upgraded the second you decide I belong here now. And so when you're looking in, you think everyone else has the answer. The secret code, you binge their content, right? You post 10 times more, but you're doing everything from lack. This is why being present is the missing step. When you're present, there is no lack. There is no anxiety. There is no chasing. There is no worry or wishing or hoping or waiting. You're just naturally grateful. You are mindful. And you take mindful action instead of just posting 3 times a day or saying your affirmations like a checklist to get somewhere. You aren't trying to get somewhere. The key to life is peace and presence, and being present comes from here and now, right? When you're present, you are in your body. That's the key to presence. You're not in your mind thinking what's the next strategy, this never happened in the past, yada, yada. You are actually in your body when you're present. And you can see the thoughts that are coming up, and you can actually feel the feelings in your body instead of being on autopilot. So you can actually stop and see if you're operating from lack. We all know, I've done this so many times. That's why, I'm making this podcast episode this week. I was in a week where I'm taking my phone to the bathroom. I'm scrolling TikTok. I can't be without my phone. I'm constantly doing 10 things at once because I'm scared to be present and just check in with myself. But I know that all my manifestations come when I'm being present, right? And so when you're present, you're magnetic. Think of talking to someone who's on their phone versus someone who's actually engaged in the conversation. The person who's engaged in the conversation and is fully there now, that's the person who's magnetic, right? Let's face it. Here's the reason why being present is the key to manifestation and the key to life. You want your manifestation so that you can be grateful and present. If I gave you your manifestation right now, let's say it was a $10,000 client, and I said, here you go, here's a $10,000 client, and you've been posting, you've been selling, you've been putting in so much work, right? And then I'm like, here is a $10,000 client. You would feel peace. You would feel present. You would feel grateful. You wouldn't be chasing. You wouldn't be wishing. You wouldn't be waiting. You wouldn't be hoping. If you were already the person who had what you wanted, you wouldn't be chasing. You wouldn't be worrying. You wouldn't be wishing. You wouldn't be waiting. You wouldn't be hoping. You would be present. You would be grateful. You would be taking action from that place, right? This is a big difference. And so, for example, when it comes to launching, right? You could plan a 3-week launch. You could stress about every DM, analyze every unfollow, or you could decide people are already watching. They're obsessed. The launch is already successful, and you magnetize results with less force. And so I actually did a challenge in the membership this week, and my client came to me and she was having a silent launch, and she was really upset. And, I sent voice notes in the membership. We did a challenge. The challenge was only 6 minutes a day. Insane. Literally only 6 minutes a day for manifestation. I think it was 6 minutes in the morning and 6 minutes a day, period. 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes at night. That was it, right? And we shifted, and she went from 0 people in her launch. She was having tech issues. She was stressed, to 2 days later. She got 2 people in out of nowhere. She got someone asking about signing up for one-on-one, and she had another person in her DMs. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks of doing the challenge. That's it. Things can shift so quickly. I want you guys to know this. She had a $7,000 launch. Went from 0 to $7,000 launch 2 weeks later. And she said, I'm just so proud of myself. And it's a testament to how much subconscious work and manifestation work. It changes your energy, which changes everything. She did not change her strategy. Like, she is actually shocked because she's like, I literally do this for a living, and I can't believe that I forgot. Like, she's a subconscious rewiring coach, and she was like, I forgot that the key is manifestation. Like, I just wasn't practicing what I preach. And that's what I mean about being mindful. We're all on autopilot. Instead of sitting down and being like, why am I doing this, this technique? Why am I doing this? Oh, I'm doing this to become the person who already has it. I'm doing this to shift into the present. Like, do you guys understand how you're just living your life on autopilot all the time? And so it doesn't even matter if you get your goal, because you're going to be on to the next. Life is about being present. And when you're present, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter if someone's annoying you. It doesn't matter if, you're worried about the future, because you're not focusing on any of that in the present. That's the key. And the truth is, when you're present, you can hear your intuition. And so this client, the story is insane. She basically said that, she was like, I have the craziest story. I bought a green bag, and I was like, let me put this on my story for some random reason. She put a bright green bag on her story. And what happened next is she literally had someone she's never spoken to before reach out to her and say, hey, I want to sign up with you, pay in full. And the reason that I signed up with you is because I asked the universe for a sign, and it was bright green, and you literally put on your story, bright green bag. She would have never been able to get that client if she didn't listen to her intuition, because her logical mind would say, why are we putting a bag on my story? Right? I should be selling. I should only be professional. I should be doing this. I should be working really hard for the results. This client came from the easiest way possible. It's not about working harder. It's about being the person who has what you want. And so you're probably asking yourself, how do I become present? My favorite ways, really easy, get into your body. We're so stuck in our mind, get into your body, right? Breathe, but also just like, what am I feeling right now, right? Just drop into your body as much as you can. And so when you're focused on the future and the past, I just want you to drop into your body. The next thing is feel your 5 senses. Look at the, clouds, and go on a walk, and, smell the air, and just like really drop into your body. And the more you do this, the more present you will be. To show you guys this in action, and I'll probably do a whole, podcast episode on this is how I gained 10,000 followers in 6 days on TikTok. I was posting for a year on TikTok, a year, right? And I wasn't getting anywhere. I was doing all the strategies. I was posting 3 times a day. I was watching all the groovers. I was doing everything that people said, but I wasn't manifesting, right? I wasn't manifesting. And when I was manifesting, I wasn't being present first. I was manifesting, but then I was still like, what should I put as my hook? Someone probably knows what to do more than me, right? I wasn't acting as if I already had 10,000 followers. I was acting as if I need to get 10,000 followers. I was acting as if someone else had the answer to how do I get 10,000 followers, right? I was outside the arena looking in instead of being the person who already had it. And so once I finally became present and then shifted my identity, what happened is I posted once and I went absolutely viral on TikTok, and I gained 10,000 followers in 6 days. And now I have 20,000 from one video. One video. One video from getting into the energy, right? And this video that went ultra viral, got over 7 million views, and TikTok actually took my video and reposted it onto its socials. That video is so fitting for right now because that video is of my dear friend now, Tori. And basically I talked about how and I'll put her link below, one video changed my life. One time I opened up TikTok expecting to laugh, and I left crying because I saw a video, of course I'm probably gonna cry, of this woman, and she was older, and she said, I wend my life away. I said, when I have, when I'm married, I'll be happy. Then I said, when I have kids, I'll be happy. When my kids go to college, I'll be happy. When my kids have kids, then I'll be happy. She woke up one day and she realized that she went her life away. She kept saying, when this happens, I will be happy. But happy is not a destination. It is a feeling that you can feel right now. My biggest thing for all of you is I do not want you guys to keep trying to get manifestation after manifestation, and getting it would be my worst fear, and not caring and just continuing to be the person who just goes through life and has everything they want, but they're empty inside. Like, what I want for you guys is to love the process of manifestation. Like, I have my dream body right now, and I didn't kill myself for it. It came in the easiest way. I love manifesting, and it manifests in the easiest way. And so I want you to know that, like, everything gets to feel easy. I love my business. Like, you get to appreciate what you have now, and so that you can have all of it, and it can all come in the easiest way, and you won't take it for granted. You'll be living the most full, incredible life from where you're currently at. You won't be thinking about the future. You won't be thinking about the past. You will be completely present and grateful. And from that place, you will attract everything that you want to you. So that's the shift. That's the key. Being present brings you back into your power. And from there, you stop chasing, you start becoming. So if this is something, this podcast episode, if this lit something up in you, and you're like, oh my God, I've been chasing without realizing. First, I want you to DM me and tell me if you love this episode, put it on your story. I love hearing from you guys. It really helps me, keep putting these out there. And I love to hear what you like and what you don't and what you want to hear this season. Like, truly, that's my favorite part. That's why I put these out for you guys, right? And I want you to know that this is the exact work we do in my membership. We use daily tools, techniques, like identity shifts, but it's also me giving you these profound, shifts every day to bring you back to the person that you're supposed to be, so that everything comes easy to you. Because it's always coming from the energy of having it, not chasing it, right? We're not doing more. You're becoming her. And so I'll drop the link in the show notes if you're feeling the nudge. It's only a $49 membership, and my clients absolutely fucking love it. So if you want to join us, that'll be down below. I love you so much. And remember, your dream life isn't in the future. It's in the version of you that shows up right now. I love you so much. And your goal for this weekend is just to be completely fucking present.